there. And they will take that bronze. Obviously, the results didn't pop up on screen here. But again, Mercyhurst, third place finish here, but well underway. We got a little bit behind schedule there, so not too surprising to see this race is already 750 meters down. We have the women's varsity 4 final here. Again, this is for the Margaret McNiff Trophy, the women's varsity 4 grand final. We've got Drexel in lane 1, Lafayette in lane 2, MIT in lane 3, FIT, your leaders there, in lane 4, Georgetown in lane 5, and Mercyhurst in lane 6. So you see that Georgetown boat just about even with our boat from MIT, and then just a few seats back is Lafayette in 4th place.
That's right, and you can see this shot looking into the sun like this, and this is what the coxswains see. Yeah. So keep in mind, you know, it's very difficult for some of these coxswains to steer straight down a course when you're looking at a shot like this, because this is about what it looks like with the glare on the water. So well done to most of these coxswains. Looks like a few little steering corrections there, but absolutely nothing to worry about. And we're still looking at FIT with quite a race shaping up behind them, again with MIT, Georgetown, Lafayette, and then Drexel in lane 1. So quite a race is happening here, almost like a flying V with FIT right there in the center.
So question for you, Whitney. You're talking a lot about how the glare is a big issue for these coxswains. Obviously, most coxswains, when they learn how to steer, we don't have these buoys here. You're learning to pick a point and try and go to that point. You know, with these buoys here, we're still seeing some of these coxswains struggle. So do you think that that's partially not being able to read the buoys as well, or kind of sticking to the philosophy of picking a point in the distance and then being a little bit surprised by the sun and not being able to really see off in the distance as they might normally?
Yeah, I think you're talking about picking a point and then perhaps having a little bit of difficulty keeping that point, being able to stay straight down the lane. And that can be a little bit of a challenge. Sometimes you don't know the waterway very well, but I know for some coxswains, I will speak for myself, you sit at the starting line and you try to see if you can find a point when you're actually sitting on the starting blocks while you're just sitting there with your rowers, trying to get your rowers to relax a little bit. And that's not always possible. Sometimes things are too far out in the distance, but in your peripherals, you try to keep about the same amount of feet on either side between that buoy line. So a lot of it is just kind of keeping an even distance right down the center. So you're just kind of keeping your eyes on both buoy lines and seeing if you can stay in the center there. And then also putting your rudder in straight. So you want to make sure that you start off with a straight rudder before you take off the blocks. And then if you need to make any corrections, you try to do it with the rowers first and then with the rudder, because that does slow the boat down. Yeah.
Great insight there as we keep focused on this lead boat from FIT here. Again, we're competing for the Margaret McNiff Trophy here. FIT, your leaders with just 500 meters left to go now in this women's varsity 4 race. Again, that race for second, though, still really tight between MIT and Georgetown. Looks like we'll give the edge here to the engineers from MIT.
Yeah, here we go again with this gorgeous shot here. FIT still in the lead, and the race shaping up behind them is MIT and Georgetown. All the way down the course, these two have been going bow ball to bow ball, so we're going to keep an eye on them as we get a little bit closer to the last 250 and see who responds first, because one of these two crews, I guarantee, is going to try to break away from the others as we start to come into the last 250 meters. But we also don't want to overlook Lafayette here in lane 2, who is also trying to make a little bit of a charge on MIT in lane 3, and also moving up just a little bit on Georgetown. So we don't want to discount Lafayette in lane 2. And then we do look to the outsides again, Drexel and Mercyhurst, who are still trailing by open water in lanes 1 and 6, excuse me. But right now it is FIT leading the charge. It is their race to lose, followed very closely by MIT now, and trailing just a teeny bit now, maybe a seat and a half is Georgetown. And then here comes Lafayette trying to overtake Georgetown.
Yeah, 200 meters left to go here, maybe less, 100 or so for our leaders from FIT. And you will see there the finish line approaching, and the winner of the Margaret McNiff Trophy is FIT. Second place to MIT, Georgetown third, Lafayette in fourth. Huge celebration there from FIT. Finishing in fifth, Mercyhurst just edging out the boat from Drexel, who finishes in sixth place. But again, results on your screen showing you there just how close that race for second was. But FIT